So when you looked at the conference, as you mentioned, a great deal of buzz around the conference. What were some of the topics, trends that you saw or heard about at the conference that were challenges or opportunities that you're seeing, from the brands?
So I think that it was really nice to see that people have, been taking steps in the right direction to evolve their loyalty program to get away from those transactional sort of old models of loyalty. But I think that there's also a lot more room for improvement, and that, maybe they have sort of taken a first pass at what they're doing, but I think that they also acknowledge that there's room to grow, and there's better ways of doing what they're doing and to create visibility into their programs. And so I think that that's probably, sort of combined challenge and opportunity together.
I think I heard there were a few things that stuck out to me. So one thing was around personalization and engagement. So I think I'd probably venture to say that every presentation I was able to attend, I think the word personalization came up in conversation. Understanding how things have changed, understanding customers better, how you actually make that member experience more elevated. So that was something that was really top of mind. And I think that's fair. It's a big deal. And we know things have changed quite a bit over the last, 18 to 20 months. And then I also, in terms of engagement, I feel like we were starting to hear a lot more about, it's got to be more than just that transaction and just that moment at the point of sale, whether it's a financial institution or a retailer, whomever, that you need to start talking to customers in those in-between moments and finding those moments in between the transactions. So I think those two were really prominent. And then another thing that I thought was really interesting and was hearing more about, which is great, is partnerships. I started to hear a lot more about partnerships while we were there. And I think there's an opportunity to even expand on that more across other brands. Like some brands I heard are sort of dipping their toe in the water. This is something that we've seen in travel and hospitality, and we've seen in financial institutions, but we're starting to see it more in retail as well, how there's these complementary types of partnerships and thinking outside of the box to give those unique opportunities that are going to keep members engaged and interested. And when I think about partnerships as well, I think there's this great opportunity to leverage them to drive greater loyalty. So if you think about opportunities to lower your cost per point, or even building a relationship, like a reciprocity-driven relationship. An example I was thinking of is, that I think it could be an opportunity is when we think about partnerships and the current supply chain issues, for instance, like how can you start to make a really special moment and kind of member connection there? Say you have a special quantity of a product that a member can't just get anywhere else or under regular channels, and you are able to share that with a member, and that creates this moment and this sort of emotional connection that can really build that bigger kind of, big L sort of macro brand loyalty.
I wrote three things. I remember sitting in one of the sessions and just thinking about what I was hearing from all the sessions I attended before, and I was in quite a few of them. I think it may have been the most sessions I've ever attended at an event. But the three themes that jumped out at me were partnerships, like brands really looking for other brands that complement them, that they can do some kind of joint strategy together. Even kind of co-mingling their programs a little bit. Data, obviously, data is just huge. There's so much going around about data and privacy and usage and optimizing data and insights. And then communications, just better, more relevant, personalized communications to really activate and engage consumers. Because just getting them in your program or in your strategy is, that's one thing, but actually getting them active and engaged with the brand, that's quite another.
So there are a couple stood out. The first in particular was around, obviously humanizing or emotional loyalty and the need for brands to reach customers at a much deeper and more meaningful level than at a transactional level. The second one was really around employee engagement and the efforts around employee engagement and how that can tie back into loyalty program success. As the employees tend to be the front line, they really can make or break the strategies put in place for loyalty programs.
Lots of them, and some of them were old familiars, and some of them were very new that reflect what's happened in the past year and a half with the pandemic. I think the persistent ones are the themes we've heard before, like the 2 Ps, which are personalization and partnerships. And we heard from a lot of brands that were presenting, even those with mature programs that are doing a lot of great things, that they're still really working to get all their ducks in a row and build better data assets and get to personalization at scale. Right? And that focus was really on building out a better single view of customer repository and coming up with tactics to action it. And that personalization that's authentic is still kind of the brass ring for modern loyalty. Everyone wants it and everyone's sort of marching towards it, but sometimes it feels elusive. And I think partnerships are also a theme, more so now in the new world order post-COVID, is as brands try to propagate soft benefits and create more out of their program other than just the hard currency and the reward and the core value proposition, they're really trying to serve up some partnership opportunities that are meaningful to their members and demonstrate not affiliate marketing that's designed to generate revenue, but to generate fun things that they show for appreciation for their best customers, that those customers say, hey, this is a high perceived value experience. I want this. This is great. And I think those 2 themes persist, Mark. But the second half, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, as I said, the second half of your question is, what are the things that are more specific now than we've seen in previous years? Well, almost every brand who presented needed to contextualize what they were talking about as part of how do we adapt to the new world order post-COVID? What does the new normal look like? Because they have changing customer expectations. They have changing ways that their customers want to shop and engage their programs. And everyone is recalibrating to do that and looking to do it quickly. And they're doing it with a couple of big time challenges right now. Supply chain loomed over this. I mean, we can't, most retailers were affected in some way by supply. And they're having to think about, I've been moving my customers towards their adjacent products and their next best actions. And now I may not have those products, or I may not have them in particular markets. And I'm going to have to be really careful about mapping. And this is happening at the same time that brands are facing labor shortages and labor challenges as well, especially gearing up for holiday. And they're having to look to their programs and their data assets to automate and deliver where human touch might not always be as possible as it was in previous epochs. And I think this is all very, very interesting. So it's an exciting time as we kind of emerge from this. And I think we all know the new normal will be different.